Good morning, Nigeria. It's the breakfast show on TSL Nigeria TV, where we have news on politics, sports, entertainment, and so much more. Did you know that we also have feature stories where we talk about nothing but everything? It's the breakfast show on TSL Nigeria TV.
Good morning and welcome to the breakfast show on TSL Nigeria TV. It's always so exciting to have you watching us every morning. Good morning, and I'm Ejiro Gene Omoigeri, and with me here is my beautiful host. Good morning, Nikki.
Good morning, I'm Nikki Moyo.
And how are you doing this morning?
I feel good. It was looking like it was going to rain this morning, but
the weather changed
and the sun came out. Maybe elephant wants to give birth. You know that thing we used to say when we were small.
Yeah. Alright, so we're going straight to the newspapers this morning. And with me here, as usual, is The Guardian for Thursday, April 4, 2019. It says, Wike wins Rivers gubernatorial poll. Atiku Lord's victory says anti-democratic forces conquered. You see that news on page 6. And then another one here says, The Guardian's Oyebade wins Best Doctoral Thesis Award at Unilag. You see this news on page 6 of your Guardian newspaper. And there is a picture story here. It says, Airpeace Chairman, Chief Executive Officer Mr. Allen Oyema, sitting left. Embraer Chief Commercial Officer Mr. Arjan Major, sitting right. Standing from left, Airpeace Embraer Engineer Mr. Charles Melomni, Chief Operating Officer Mrs. Oluwatoyin Olajide, Chief of Finance and Administration Mrs. Ejiro Egaga, Embraer VP Sales and Marketing Middle East and Africa Mr. Raul Villaron, and Sales Director Africa Francisco Moraes, during the signing of a contract for 30 brand new Embraer 195E2 aircraft between Airpeace and Embraer at Embraer business meeting with the aviation world in Port Louis, Mauritius yesterday. Story on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. Then another one here says, Why not remains poor despite agricultural potential? This is by Dangote, news on page 5. Senate faults Buhari's rejection of 90 billion reform to Taraba Delta. You see this news on page 8 of your Guardian newspaper. Nikki, what do you have for us?
Okay, I have the Guardian with me, and on the top stories, Reverse, Wike plus ACC acquire polls with 886,264 votes. It's end of an era in Reverse, State Collation Officer says. And we will store the results for action. ACC, jubilation erupts in Port Harcourt. Atiku Okowa, secondus Obi, others hails Wike's victory. And on another story, we have Onogian denies EFCC bribery allegations as NJC sends investigative reports to Buhari. CCT fixed April 15 for adoption of final argument. You can find the story on page 9 of your Vanguard newspaper. And also, Labour activists turn political supremo at 67, talking about Oshomole. Right, okay, we could find the story. FEC okays 3.4 trillion naira promissory notes to offset local debtors' salary. You can find the story on page 44 of the Vanguard newspaper. And for our picture story today, we have Airpeace Chairman, Chief Executive Officer Mr. Allen Oyema sitting left, with Embraer Chief Commercial Officer Mr. Agran Major sitting right, and standing from left, Airpeace Embraer Engineer Mr. Charles Meloni, Chief Operating Officer Mrs. Oluwatoyin Olajide, Chief of Finance and Administration Mrs. Ejiro Egaga, Embraer VP Sales and Marketing Middle East and Africa Mr. Ron Valeron, and Sales Director Africa Francisco Moraes, during the signing of a contract for 30 brand new Embraer 195E2 aircraft between Airpeace an Embraer at Embraer's business meeting with the aviation world in Port Louis, Mauritius yesterday. You have that same story on The Guardian, I noticed.
Yeah.
Okay, on sports, we have Pelé, 78, admitted to hospital in Paris. We wish him to be well soon. Yeah. And also, Messi leads Golden Shoe race with 64 points. Wow. I'm going to Mr. and Miss. Should I read this now?
Just wait.
I should wait. Okay.
Alright, moving to the next newspaper, I have the Nigerian Observer. It says here, Edo Missile Sterling Bank partner on mechanized farming, development of 150-hectare rice farmland. You see that on page 2 of your Observer newspaper. Edo government reads riot act against exploitative health workers. You also see that on page 2 of your Observer newspaper. And then we have a picture story here. Visits left to right special advisor of Edo State Governor on Agriculture and Food Security Program, Honorable Joe Okoje. Edo State Acting Governor, Right Honorable Comrade Philip Shaibu. Head Agriculture Field Services NISAL Ibrahim Abdullahi and other members of NISAL delegation during the organization's visit to Government House, Benin City, Edo State. Edo organizes promotion tests for over 400 civil servants.
Wow.
All right, that's it.
That's huge.
We would love for you to get the newspaper, visit your local vendors. But just before we do that, Nikki, you have Mrs. and Mrs.
Yeah, I don't know. This looks like Vanguard usually have a tip into what we're going to discuss.
I don't know.
All right, on Mr. and Mrs. we have a British accent is confusing. When she calls me Papa, it sounds like Pawpaw, and her sass sounds like Sass. I'm not comfortable with all that. And Mrs. says, is that why you asked her to call you dear?
That's Mrs. Revolting. Alright, that's it for the newspaper review, and when we return we're talking about a very interesting topic. Is there a Nigerian accent? We'll go on a short break, and when we return we will discuss. Good morning.
Is a distinctive way of pronouncing a language, especially when you're associated with a country, an area, or a social class. According to CNN, Nigeria is the #6 country with the world's most sexiest accents. But wait, before we go into that, there are two schools of thought to this. One school of thought believes that Nigeria accent is basically flavored with the West accent, maybe British or American, while another school of thought believes that the Nigerian accent is a derivative of our diverse tribe or ethnic group. Today, I am ladies who will be discussing the Nigerian accent. Is there truly a Nigerian accent? And with us on the breakfast show this morning is one of the finest media personalities and an honor personality with KUFM, the president of Orlando, Gatla.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning,
Good morning.
Nikki.
This is not radio. So
Yeah.
How do you feel?
How do I feel? Okay, basically, it's not my first time coming on camera. I was a film student, so used to, but I don't like camera.
Oh.
No.
So it's not my first time being on TV or facing the camera, so I don't have any phobia or anxiety about it.
Let's just tell us a little bit about Orlando. What do you think viewers out there do not know about you?
One thing people don't know about me is I'm very soft. The way I sound on radio, people always call me bully.
Whoa, you're no bully.
I'm not a bully. I'm not a bully. I'm a very soft person. That's just basically who Orlando is. Very easygoing. When I mean easygoing, I'm one of the easiest easiest going person you can actually find on earth.
Can I high five you just now?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so going straight into the business of today, is that truly a Nigerian accent? Do you feel that it's something that people feel is like a myth, or do you think it is well known, like other kind of accent that we're used to?
Yes, there is a Nigerian accent. Wherever you find yourself, when you speak, you stand out. First of all, we have to understand that accent is a set of phonetic sounds.
Okay.
So when you speak, it stands you out. If you find yourself in the midst of other countries, not just we Nigerians. Yeah, even in Nigeria, when we speak, most times we identify where we are from, just like a Yoruba person speaking. No matter, when you're educated, the H factor and where you're from tends to, you suppress it with the way you speak. But basically, there is a Nigerian accent, there is a British accent, there is an American accent, there is a South Africa accent. So name them. I definitely believe there is a Nigerian accent.
Hey, Drew, you're going to say something?
Yeah, there's a Nigerian accent, being that we're talking about people, the way we sound. Now, I believe that no matter how much we travel out of the country, no matter how far we go, we have that accent. They will just know this one sounds like a Nigerian, irrespective of your tribe. So I believe there's a Nigerian accent. Every one of us have that distinct sound.
Before we continue this conversation, please, you could do well to drop your comments at the TSL Nigeria TV, and we would do well to read every comment that comes today. And also, we're streaming live on Facebook, TSL Nigeria TV, and that's for all our social media platforms. So, Orlando, why do people feel that Nigerians do not appreciate our accents?
First of all, we don't even appreciate our culture.
Wow.
Everybody wants to behave like the Western world. Everybody wants to, especially when you find yourself in a group and you stand out. Maybe you don't do the nasal sound thing.
We're getting there.
Hello, how you do?
We're getting there.
So I think. Come again with your question.
I said, why do you feel that Nigerians do not appreciate
because they don't believe their accents can be accepted while outside Nigeria. Wow. So if you see when somebody goes for an interview, basically let's say somebody that is learned, very well learned, wants to interview you, instead of you to come out and speak straight like you speak in your house, instead of you to come out and talk the way you talk to your mother and your father, you start forming accents, and thereby you start making mistakes. You might not pronounce, you hear somebody pronouncing water. What? Can you just say water? Yes, sometimes we have the phonetic sound, but pronounce it and pronounce it right. And once you start forming,
I read a story on an article that talks about a man was saying his story and how he lost his flight, or he missed his flight because he couldn't hear what the announcer was saying in Nigeria here in the airport, and he had to write to FAAN to tell them that, say, you guys need to do a training, maybe proper training to your announcers, so that they could pronounce words that we average Nigerians we could relate to and understand. Hey, Jiro, what do you feel?
I feel we should be more comfortable with the way we sound. Now, what people do most times is they overdo it. Do you understand? You see a Nigerian who usually doesn't talk in a particular way, when it gets to a particular sector, opportunity to show off. But I believe that what happens is that we are not comfortable with what we have, with the way we sound, and so we think we need to extra hype ourselves. Do you understand? And then,
the thing there, the crux of the matter is pronounce every word right. Forget about accents. Especially we.
Amongst ourselves.
Media people.
Media, yes, it's when it comes to media.
Especially
why you address it? You need to address it. Why is it that when we go for auditions, you're going and say, hey, good morning, my name is...
You're going too far. You're going really too far.
I'm going too far.
Like yeah, you're going too far. Let's talk about those that have gotten the job. Maybe they scaled through with the accent thing and they're into the job now.
Okay.
See, yeah, radio is one thing that, one secret about radio is just be yourself on radio. You get to enjoy yourself. But when you force the accent, see, my sister, you will not know when the you will come out. So you hear some OAPs mixing British accent with American accent, British pronunciation with American pronunciation, and I think is what the society has put out to us, because we are media personalities. People look up to us when it comes to sentence constructions, words, pronunciations. We are now being forced to do more than we can actually do. What I understood in this job is that just to get your words pronounced properly. And forget about the accent. Tokemaki was scaled through.
She did.
She scaled through.
She did, actually. She did.
She's in the limelight now, and nobody's talking about it.
She's one of the
She was mixing American accent with British accents. But here she is. Nobody's crucifying her for that. And I think that is also one of the things that made a lot of media personalities start. See, when you turn off your mic in a radio station, when you come on air, hi, hello, good morning, welcome to KUFM and all of that. When you turn off your mic, that is where you hear our real voice. The way we talk. For people that do the accent.
It's true. Because people will be like, but when you're talking to me, you used to talk to me with the broadcasting voice. Now you're talking to me like.
Let me quickly tell you a story.
Okay.
Just a bit, just a part of the story about my media journey. When I did my IT, I think ABS Oka.
Oh, okay. Anambra Broadcasting.
Yes, Anambra Broadcasting Service. We came on. I saw a lot of them speaking, blah blah blah. I wasn't brought up with an accent.
Okay.
We basically spoke more of our native language than English language.
Where are you from?
I'm from Anambra State.
Oh, you're Igbo.
Yes, I'm Igbo. People don't actually believe that. So when we got there for the audition and for them to take everybody was, doing the whole accent thing. I told myself, look, first of all, I'm scared, I'm anxious and all of that. So if I start speaking this thing now, it will not work for me. Funnily enough, they took those people that came in with the accents because they feel they meet the standard of being a media personality. Is that
supposed to be a criteria for you to work in the media? Like you really sound really suave and smooth, and you're giving them the vibe. Because I know people that are really intelligent and maybe they really have content, but probably because you're not really believing in the accents area. It's like.
Let me refer to my colleague on the breakfast show, Charles Operum.
Hi, Charles.
He's one person that doesn't have an accent. Okay. But when it comes, he's a word. I'll just use the description. A wordsmith. He knows how to pronounce words properly. I learned from him. He knows how to pronounce words. You can never hear him giving you the accent. Okay. And I got to believe that. Look, and funnily enough, these days, some employers, they are trying not to look out for your accent anymore. They are trying.
Things are changing.
Yes, they're really trying. They're looking out for what you have upstairs. How are you able to pull your audience? How can you pass your message across without distracting your audience with your nasal pronunciations? Because sometimes some people get angry even listening to people that give the accents. Like you're Nigerian, we have South African accent, and my best accent is South Africa. I love the way they speak English.
I really love it, right?
I would really want to try to mimic one of them someday. So be proud of who you are. Nigeria is a country, one of, like you said, six sexiest accents. Now, why don't we be proud of it?
I believe many people don't know, but I want to ask you a question. So what is the line? Now, are you saying we shouldn't follow the accent, or you're just strictly saying we should follow speaking right?
I think we should follow speaking right.
That's
That's my take.
Why?
Pronounce right and speak right. Just like what you said, somebody missed his flight because
he couldn't hear what
they were saying.
The third person was.
The announcer was saying.
So speak right. Communication is to pass a message which the receiver is supposed to decode, if I'm right with that chain of communication. You're supposed to pass a message which the receiver is supposed to decode. So there won't be communication if you're talking to me and I don't understand what you're saying.
Okay.
You might sound very nice, but if I don't understand what you're saying, you're not communicating.
So coming home to us as individuals now, we have different tribes in Nigeria. We have Igbo, Yoruba, and what have you.
Over 250 ethnic languages.
No, this is 500.
And then another thing is every place has a way they sound. Now, if you grow up in Benin City, there's a way you sound when you speak English. If you grow up in certain places, especially maybe the Igbo speaking and then the houses, we all sound different. How do we come together and, you know, actually have this uniform
synchronization?
Yes, because when you hear an Igbo man speaking English, it's very different. When you hear a Yoruba man speaking English, it's very different. And you know, their accent actually always come to play.
Yes, like I mentioned it when I said if you hear a Yoruba man speaking, you know, except you're very learned. That, do you know I'm Igbo?
No.
My accent, my ethnic mother tongue interference is not coming on the way I speak, so you won't know. So basically this comes into play when the individual is not really well learned. Like you go to you pass through some stages of education to, you know, outgo that mother tongue interference. But as a Nigerian, I'm speaking as a Nigerian, this is the way we're supposed to speak.
Yes.
I don't know how to. Let me try.
Try.
I can't even try.
I can't even try.
I can't try.
Like that. Why is it that Nigerians, when they just travel abroad, you know, they just come back and
they're all spraying, even if it's for 1 month.
There's what we call accent. Having an accent is by nurture.
Okay.
You have an accent by nurture. Now, I have a friend of mine that works in a radio station too in Lagos. Now, if you see the 2-year-old daughter talking to you, you would think she was born abroad and she's schooled abroad. This is a 2-year-old child. Daddy, I don't want ice cream. I'm like, please, where did you give birth to your child? Like, in Lagos here. So it's by nurture. If a child is a product of its environment,
That's true.
if people around you always make sure they speak right, pronounce right, you will definitely pick it up.
Okay.
But if people around you, they are always the kind of person that, you know, speak native language, just the crux of the matter is that a child is a product of its environment. So accent comes by nurture, not nature. For those of them that travel abroad for 1 week, and come back and be telling us, you know, man.
Man.
Nah. I have a friend, 20 years in Malaysia. He doesn't do the accent thing. He only does it when he's talking to friends there. But when it comes down to Nigeria, he will go even follow the conductor self drag change. You won't even know he has been in.
Comment I need to read from Uche Rosilva Chiri Anai. She says, good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
And then from Dominio, he says, good morning. And then question to Orlando. Does the society accept the personality of an individual who has an accent? If yes, do you think that can change?
Society accepts the individual that have the accent and you are intelligent.
Okay.
If you have the accent, you know what you're pronouncing. See, I don't have a problem with you giving me the British accent and the American accent, but please, when you're doing it, do it right. They'll say if you want to eat a frog, eat the big one. So if you want to give us the American accent, make sure you don't mix it up with the British accent.
I'm not giving us
where you say, if you're speaking, I think British is either and American is either.
Okay.
So if you're speaking British, stick with it. If you're speaking American, stick with it. And you know what you're saying. You should be factual with whatever thing you're saying. Okay. So I think the society will accept you. The thing is, there's something upstairs.
So we're choosing intelligence over accent, basically. Is that what we're saying right now?
That's basically what I'm saying, because some people that do the accents, you find out they're not even intelligent, and that is what turns a lot of people off.
Yeah.
So even if you're accenting, you're giving us a British accent, just have something upstairs.
Okay, so you are saying that for your accent to be taken seriously,
Yes.
something up there.
Yeah, yeah. Not if you go to New Benin market, how much you sell this?
That's what you say. You say,
And we should know where to speak the accent. That's the thing. Let's know where to speak.
That's another thing. Yeah, everybody feels that they could just as in,
I
talk about the accent to everybody. Okay, Adrian, you're going to say something.
I was going to say something. Actually, I have an experience, and sometimes when I actually speak in a bus, I'm actually attacked, and it's not deliberate. In my case, when I actually speak English, sometimes I have to deliberately remember to speak pidgin in a bus, and then when I speak it, I get the worst reaction. So for someone like me now, that sometimes it just comes natural for me. So sometimes I'm saying, and please give me change, and then this one's there like, please I beg, like, you know, they want to look down on me and think I'm forming the accent. So for someone like me now, that's, you know, and it comes natural. So what's my fate in the matter?
Basically,
because sometimes I have to remember to tell the market seller that it's not how much is tomatoes or how much for tomatoes. I have to say, madam, how much? Do you understand? I have to make sure I remember to calm down. And sometimes I go off-handedly and I speak correct English.
It's because we are media personalities, so we always try, but we should also learn how to drop our media personality sometimes when we go to markets like Dead and New
Me, I'm
Benin.
saying I didn't carry media personality.
No, you unconsciously do it. You unconsciously do, because I think for we media personalities, consistency will make us perfect. So wherever we find ourselves, we'll try as much as possible to speak right.
Okay.
So it's just unconscious, but we tend to forget that. Look, you don't come up for studio.
Okay.
You didn't new media market. The woman that doesn't understand good English is there. So as a good communicator that you are, you're supposed to go down to the person's language. So you got, like I said, there's no communication if whoever you're talking to doesn't understand you. So you should remember to drop it. When I grew up in Lagos, so we know how to switch. They say if you don't know how to switch your personality, you're not a Lagosian. So you practically should know when to talk, when to speak, what language you should use in communicating to a person. So it's not like you are accenting or you're trying to sound posh or tush like they say. It's because of your kind of job. A banker would always want to manage even 10 naira.
That's true.
Even when he gets to the market, that is the person's profession applying to the kind of person he is. It now comes to you like, okay, I'm not in the bank, I'm not calculating anybody's money, let me just get out of this. So that's basically how it is.
In as much as we want us to go really further and further into this, we have to come to the end of the breakfast show.
I was actually enjoying it, really.
How time flies. Thank you so much, Orlando, for joining us. We're superly grateful. I know you come again.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. If I'm free, I will.
No. All right, this is all that we can do at the breakfast show this morning. Thank you so much for all of your comments and all our views. We really love you so much. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's at TSL Nigeria TV, and follow us on Facebook and on Twitter on the same social media handle. Till we come your way same time tomorrow. It is a bye for now.
Bye. Bye.